Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Julie Larson. I am a certified emotion code practitioner. I originally started out as a social worker and a registered nurse, so I understand how the system does and does not work. You're good. I originally came across emotion code to self-treat because through the years I have experienced several different things in my life that I just could not get over. So like Roger had spoken about how you have that rut of thought and you just can't get out of it. I experienced that. I had sought traditional treatment, didn't work. Nothing long term. I always ended up back in the same rut. I wasn't happy. So I've always been searching. Came across emotion code. Emotion code, developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, chiropractor, found that when you experience a negative emotion in abundance, your body's able to deal with a certain amount. Anything more than that, what does your body do? It stores it. It's part squirrel or chipmunk, okay? Packs it away. That's great, except that there's no way for your body to use it. And once it's put there, there's no way to get it out either. It doesn't, you can't just remove it. So now you have two competing frequencies. The frequency of whatever that organ or body system is supposed to have in order to function, and then now that competing frequency of the emotion that's trapped there. And what we just learned from Dr. Essen about the transmitters, neurotransmitters and the synapses, is that emotions are chemicals. When they are released from the hypothalamus into your body to give you that feeling, okay, whatever it is, it's a neurotransmitter, it's a protein, it goes to the cells, it goes into a receptor, okay? The more a cell is exposed to that neurotransmitter, the more receptors it will make the next time it splits, okay? So if you are constantly in a rut of feeling, you know what, this just isn't going to work, that doom and gloom kind of thing, then somewhere in your body you have a trapped emotion of effort unreceived or depression, grief, something like that. And your body has to keep making more of that emotion in order to fill those receptors. And every time the cell splits, you have more receptors for that emotion. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you feel it, the more room there is to let them in. Okay? Again, you have to change that. One of the things that we can do is with the trapped emotions, we use muscle testing to identify them. So we would test someone's arm, okay, have them come out. I would test their arm. There are two ways why someone can't be tested. If they are really dehydrated, if they have cervical misalignment in their neck, okay. The other way is if they're unconscious, if they're really, really young, okay. Pets can't test animals that way either, okay. So then you do, if you can't do one-on-one, you do surrogate testing, where I would have someone touch someone else, or they would touch me, and then I would do the testing for them, and I act like the extension cord. So then that way I bypass their dehydration, their mental state, or their cervical misalignment. I bypass that so that I'm able to test their subconscious for them. Okay. The third way that we can do it is by proxy, where they're not even with me, and I muscle test myself until I test positive to their name, which means that I am tuned in to their body frequency, and then I test for them. I can do that completely apart from them, or we can do that like by Skype, over the phone, okay, so that they hear what's going on. Usually there's a chart that I use, column A, column B, and then it's divided up into 6 rows. So you test. Is it in column A? Is it in column B? Is it an odd or even? And then you test through. When you get to the square, then you test for those 5 emotions. And the reason you do that is because you don't want to test 60 times. Somebody's arm's going to fall off, okay? You find the emotion. You normally you just have to run the magnet down the governing meridian. So if I'm doing it by proxy, I run it over my scalp from my forehead down to the back of my neck. If I'm doing it on an actual person, I run it from the nape of their neck down to the bottom of their spine. Okay? 3 times for an emotion that they trapped themselves, 10 times for an emotion that's been inherited. Okay? After that, verify, was this emotion released? If it was, great, we can go on to the next one. If it wasn't, is there something else we need to know? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes the body wants you to know where it was trapped, when, what age it was, what event it was trapped. Sometimes if it's an inherited, we always track down the genealogy. Was it the mother's side, 3, 4 generations back, so that you get an idea. Another fun thing that happens when I'm testing people is that, okay, was it grief? And I get a yes answer. At that very same moment, a lot of times people will get a flash in their mind, a picture of what it was. So that I'll say, was it grief? I get a yes. You don't say anything to me, but you just got a flash of when your dog died when you were in 2nd grade. So you know what that emotion is tied to. So that when I go to release it, it just wants that moment of time. And then it's like, okay, hi, I'm here, now I can go. And then it's gone. And it's gone. Some of you have the brochures. I can make sure the rest of you have. Trapped emotions, because you're dealing with that competing frequency, they interfere with the receptors on the cells. Again, what we learned from Dr. Essen's talk, if a cell does not have the appropriate receptors to receive the nutrients, the other chemicals that the body produces in order so that it functions and can play with the rest of the team nicely for what body system it's with, it's not going to function the way it was designed to. Then you get imbalance, you get disease. So things don't function properly. Now keep in mind, when you have 2 frequencies, it's like playing with a radio. You're trying to tune in 2 radio stations at the same time. When you're on a road trip and that happens, does that ever happen to anybody? Yeah? Okay. When it first happens, it's just kind of irritating, right? You just kind of forget about it. You're like, no. When you first trap an emotion, you might have pain or aching in whatever that body system is, okay? But not necessarily dysfunction. After a period of time, you ignore it. You don't notice it anymore. Just like with the radio, you don't notice it for the next 45 minutes going down the road. And then all of a sudden you notice it and it bothers you so bad that if you can't find another radio station, you just shut it off, right? Okay, your body can't just shut it off, but that's when your body responds with extreme pain, dysfunction, okay? It'll put up with it for a while. Our bodies are great. We accommodate to anything for a while. And then after a while, your body will not accommodate anymore, and that's when the disease and the dysfunction show up. By releasing these trapped emotions, you allow these cells to go back to the original receptor design that they had on the outside so that they can function the way they were supposed to. Your body stops producing the excess chemical, that excess neurotransmitter with that frequency, so that you are no longer bombarded by that, so that those thought patterns stop happening. Okay? Trapped emotions can cause anything from problems with focus, your heart, digestion, mobility, pain. There is no limit to what trapped emotions can contribute to. A lot of times what I'm finding is that people who have sought treatment elsewhere, I have trouble with my knee. The x-rays say that it's fine. You know, we just can't figure out what's going on, why it always hurts. It doesn't, I'll take ibuprofen, it doesn't always work, you know. That's when a trapped emotion can come in. Because think about it, the cells in your knees, they don't even have the receptors to respond to the ibuprofen if that's what you take, because those receptors for the ibuprofen are gone. So they're only receiving the pain now, whatever that trapped emotion is. I have dealt with a lot of things. My most recent thing is that I dealt with addiction behaviors. So we've noticed some change. We're waiting to see. I've done insomnia, and she responded within 1 week. So the week that I treated her, and by the end of that week, the insomnia was gone. And she'd been taking medication for it, and even the medication, again, the medication didn't work. It gave her 2 hours, not 8 hours. She stopped taking the medication. I did my treatment, and she was fine. So, or my intervention, I should say. So it kind of depends. The longer you have had the trapped emotion, maybe the little bit longer it takes to resolve it in your body. Just because the cells have to split and repopulate the appropriate receptors. But it's a consistent change so that you will notice, oh, I have this problem with anger and I'm always blowing up at people. Okay, we do treatments, we respond, we release all the trapped emotions with that. Great. You're like, I don't know, I don't feel anything. Wasted my money. 2 weeks later, you're in a situation, wow, you're walking away from an interaction with a coworker, you're like, that was strange. You're like, what? Well, normally if that situation, I would have blown up at them, I would have had my hands around their neck, something. And you're like, I didn't even think about doing that this time. I guess I am changing. Little things like that you'll notice after a while. And then you'll notice, it's okay that I woke up this morning. I'm not upset that I woke up. I can get out of bed with a smile. Things like that happen, those type of things tend to take a little while, a couple of weeks after treatment, or while treatment is happening, you'll notice those changes. Things like pain, they tend to go away a little bit quicker, either immediately or within 24 to 72 hours, and then they stay gone. Trapped emotions, not only can they store anywhere in the body, there's also a special place, a heart wall, where your body takes those emotions and it pads them around your heart. So the people, universities out on the East Coast have determined that your heart has a magnetic field of 12 feet. So you should be able to take two people, back them into a room together, and when they get within 12 feet of each other, they should be able to know that somebody else is there. Okay? If you don't, something is blocking your magnetic energy. That's usually your heart wall. Again, your body takes excess emotion that it has, pads it around there so that you don't feel heartache. Okay? It doesn't actually deposit in the heart. Trapped emotions can, but the heart wall is around the heart. And you can release that. If you have people that say, I just don't seem to connect to people. Yeah, I love them, but, it's not like we're connected in any way. Those are people with heart walls. A lot of times you can relieve a heart wall, especially if people have been married for a while, because, we tend to step on each other's toes and you hold on to things. You can address the heart wall with the couple before they go to marriage counseling, and they respond much better because they can connect and they don't have all of that blockage to prevent them from a change. And then things turn out better. So that's a nice thing to hear too. So regular trapped emotions anywhere in the body, heart wall just around the heart. Yeah, quick, easy. Questions? No?